Hola, muy buenos días, muy buenas tardes a todos los que nos acompañan a esta serie de webinars de la Federación Mexicana de la Industria Aeroespacial. Les damos la bienvenida, muchas gracias por acompañarnos. Les pedimos, si es que no lo han hecho ya, que por favor deshabiliten su cámara y su micrófono para poder lograr tener una mejor transmisión el día de hoy. Muchas gracias a todos por su comprensión. Bueno, el webinar del día de hoy, se llama Aerospace Fastener Supply Chain Issues. How Can Jergens Help? Um, a cargo de Spencer Wills, que es el European Managing Director de Jergens Incorporated, precisamente una compañía que es especialista en fasteners. Y bueno, también para platicarles que el próximo webinar va a ser precisamente el 20 de agosto. Tenemos ahí algún tema. Los detalles los estarán recibiendo pronto para que se conecten también con nosotros el próximo 20 de agosto. Muchísimas gracias a todos. Bueno, platicar un poquito acerca de la Federación Mexicana de la Industria Aeroespacial. Somos una asociación privada sin fines de lucro, fundada en 2010 en 2007, que agrupa las principales compañías, las principales empresas de la industria aeroespacial en México en los temas de manufactura, mantenimiento, reparación y overhaul, diseño, ingeniería y otros servicios relacionados. Actualmente tenemos aproximadamente casi 140 miembros en 14 estados de la República y nuestros miembros son responsables de más del 80% de las exportaciones aeroespaciales de México. También tenemos una representación a nivel nacional y bueno, nuestro modus operandi es precisamente a través de colaboración con organismos afines tanto a nivel nacional como a nivel internacional. La siguiente podrán ver ahí un pequeño collage organizado por tipo de operación preponderante de cada una de las empresas que tenemos. Y bueno, van a ver ahí muchos logotipos muy familiares y hay otros que no son tanto, pero que también son igualmente importantes porque precisamente son los que conforman el ecosistema de la industria aeroespacial nacional. También presentarles a nuestro staff. Está Luis Azúa como presidente del consejo, presidente del organismo. Está Pamela Arellano como en la dirección de operación, Mónica Vega en la dirección de promoción, Enrique Maldonado en la dirección de desarrollo de proveedores de proveeduría y Ailín Delgadillo como coordinador ejecutivo y su servidor Luis Liscano, director del organismo. Muchas gracias a todos ellos porque son los que hacen posible todo esto. Bueno, también si hay alguna empresa que le interesa ser miembro de Femia o constituirse como o iniciar el proceso para evaluar la pertinencia de ser miembro de Femia, pueden acceder a esta liga con el QR que les presentamos ahí. Y bueno, y ahí pueden evaluar la pertinencia de pertenecer o hacerse miembros de Femia. De igual forma también, es importante, si no lo han hecho ya, si participan en el sector aeroespacial, que se registren en el Registro Nacional Aeroespacial, que es precisamente una base de datos verificada por Femia, para incorporar las empresas que actúan en la industria aeroespacial en México. No tiene costo, ¿verdad? Y no necesariamente tienen que ser miembros de FEMIA para estar en el Registro Nacional Aeroespacial. Bueno, nos pasamos ahora al tema que nos atrae. Hago la aclaración que la presentación de Spencer Wills, que es nuestro invitado de honor del día de hoy, ¿verdad? Será en inglés, así es que, ¿cómo se llama? Para que la presentación sí la haremos en español. Nosotros presentaremos a Spencer en español, pero él estará presentando en inglés. Entonces, habiendo dicho eso. Dejen presentarles yo a Spencer Wills, que es el manager el managing director para Europa, ¿verdad? Está basado en el Reino Unido, ¿verdad? Y se encarga precisamente como managing director para Europa de todas las operaciones de Jergens Inc. Y también incorpora todo lo que viene siendo el tema del sector aeroespacial dentro de la compañía. Él maneja todo el tema aeroespacial en la compañía. Su experiencia es predominantemente en espacio, defensa y en el sector de deporte de motor, que es muy apasionante, con experiencia tanto en manufactura como en distribución de fasteners de especialidad. Su enfoque en Jergens incluye construir una estrategia para el sector aeroespacial, el cual involucra desarrollar una una red de distribución internacional y establecer relaciones directas con compañías de aeroespacio. Adicionalmente, está muy enfocado en la expansión de los productos de Jergens con nuevos desarrollos de productos, particularmente en áreas donde el sector aeroespacial está enfrentando algunos retos de proveeduría. Entonces, sin más, Spencer, thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure and an honor to have you here, and thank you for sharing your experience with us in this webinar. Thank you very much, and the cameras and microphones are yours now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you for the opportunity to talk to you about Jergens and also the aerospace market and supply issues that we are seeing in the aerospace market. I appreciate the opportunity. Let me just open up the presentation.
There you go.
You can see the presentation?
Yes, we can see it now.
Perfect, thank you. So, aerospace fastener supply chain issues and how can Jergens help? So today, I wanted to thank you again for the opportunity where I will present Jergens, give you a bit of information about the company, the structure, what our strategy is, and how we are looking to expand into the aerospace market with Mexico being a key target region for us. I'll talk to you about aerospace fastener supply chain issues. I can tell you about the experience I've had over the last 2 years, and particularly since COVID as well, and give you some background information to where some of these challenges and issues have come from. I'll talk to you about where Jergens can help. And then I'll delve into some of the products that we can immediately help with, like quick release pins, threaded inserts. And then I'll move on to some of the more new development areas that we're working on, new products. And also an important part of this session today is to present Jergens as a company that wants to help solve issues in the supply chain. So I'll be very grateful if I can get any feedback from anybody that's having any experience right now with fasteners of the supply chain. Something Jergens are looking to focus on will be to develop the fastener range for the aerospace market. And to do that, we need to do it in conjunction with our customers and the challenges that they're facing. So first of all, quick introduction. So my name's Spencer. I'm actually based in the UK. I'm the European Managing Director, but I'm supporting Jergens on an international level in regards to building the aerospace market, particularly around the fastener product. I've been with the company now for just over 2 years. My background is in aerospace and defense, both from a distribution and from a manufacturer point of view. And I've got a lot of experience in this market sector. My colleague, Miguel, he's based in Mexico. He's been with the company a little bit longer than me, 2 years, 10 months. His background is from the automotive industry and special steels and manufacturing processes. And in conjunction with myself, Miguel is also focused on growing the aerospace business. So a little bit of information about the business if you don't know who Jergens are. So Jergens are a privately owned, family-run business. It's owned and operated by the Schrom family. The business was started in 1942, so it's a very well-established US business over 80 years. in business. Headquartered in Cleveland, Ohio. We have approximately 220 employees. Our main manufacturing is in Cleveland and in Chicago. 80% of all of our products are made in Cleveland and Chicago. We have regional managers in Mexico with Miguel, Canada, UK, Europe with myself, and also India and China. We also have subsidiaries in India and China, and we have a global distribution network. So we may be talking to yourselves today in Mexico, but you may have other locations around the world that would need support, and we have that network of either regional managers through Jergens or through our distribution network. So as I mentioned, the company started in 1942 as Glenn Tool and Manufacturing Company, mostly focused on work holding type products. The company changed its name to Jergens in 1969. In 1973, Jergens acquired a business called Acme Industrial in Chicago. That's where our threaded inserts part of the business comes from. In 1999, we moved into a new facility in Cleveland. It's a modern, very large manufacturing facility. Shortly after that, in the year 2000, that's when we launched our quick lock, quick release pins, which followed with MS and NES threaded inserts in 2002. And then from 2020, we acquired AS9100, and that's where the business really started to focus on the aerospace market. As we're talking about aerospace and defense, Jergens, I already mentioned, we manufacture the AS9100. We're REACH, ROSH, EAR 99 and DFARS compliant. We manufacture products to MS, NES, NA, AS standards as expected. And we have all the relevant qualifications and certification required to supply into the aerospace market. There are three divisions to Jergens. So first of all, Jergens, as the brand Jergens, Jergens offer three product groups: work holding solutions, specialty fasteners, and lifting solutions, which I'll talk about that part of the business shortly. We have a business called ASG, who manufacture torque control products, precision fastening systems, or automated turnkey solutions for production lines. That part of the business is also based in the Cleveland, Ohio facility. And then I mentioned already, Acme Industrial, based just outside of Chicago. That's where we manufacture key locking inserts and threaded inserts. So there I'll be focusing on the Jergens part of the business, which incorporates Acme on the inserts. Just as a bit of a background about some of the other products before we talk about the aerospace market. So I mentioned work holding. This is actually the biggest product group for Jergens on a global basis. And we also supply these into aerospace manufacturing companies. So these are predominantly quick change systems, work holding systems for use in CNC machining centers, 5-axis machining centers, or any type of automated production facility where you need to have the ability to change components very quickly. We do a wide range of products from our ball locking system, which offers a complete solution in regards to changing out components, jigs and fixtures. We offer quick lock systems, 0-point systems. We offer self-centering vices, power work holding, tooling columns, toggle clamps, locating components. It's a very well-established portfolio of products in the work holding range. On the specialty fastener side, we have quick lock, quick release pins, which we'll talk about in a bit more detail shortly. Lanyards, key locking threaded inserts, spring plungers, handles, levers and cranks, hand wheel and knobs. And then we also have lifting solutions, which is predominantly hoist ring solutions, all different variants of hoist rings, including corrosion resistant for harsh environments, but also our unique lift check system. These are actually used in the aerospace industry on some of the ground handling equipment, but also on some aircraft, particularly military cargo type aircraft. So moving on to the aerospace supply chain issues. Ever since COVID, a number of aerospace fastener manufacturers have struggled to rebound. We all saw, obviously, the aerospace market pretty much came to a standstill during COVID. And then once COVID passed, things quickly ramped up in regards to production demands. I mean, we can see the backlogs with the likes of Airbus, who've got 10 plus year backlogs on the order books now. And this is obviously being cascaded down through the supply chain. And it's hit a number of fastener manufacturers due to a number of reasons. One key reason is during COVID, they lost a number of key and experienced staff members, whether that was through early retirement or other reasons. During that time, we obviously saw a huge increase in raw material costs, material shortages throughout the world, particularly with some stainless steels. And then since COVID, it's pretty much universal across all regions. We've seen companies are now having recruitment issues. You cannot find skilled or qualified staff. And that really has affected a number of fastener companies. So from our close relationship we have with our customers, end users, distribution networks, we've managed to gain a lot of market knowledge. We're very keen to make sure that we're very close to the market, so we know what's happening and where the challenges are, so we can react and help solve those issues that customers are having. One product in particular was quick release pins. Lead times on quick release pins were starting to be quoted at 66 plus weeks. I've actually seen a lot longer than that as well. And the delivery dates being quoted at that lead time were also being missed. So you're talking 1 to 2 year lead times for quick release pins. There's also been a high number of quality issues. Customer support has disappeared from a lot of these fastener manufacturers, and order book reviews were being declined. So a lot of the customers for these types of fasteners lost control of their supply chain. They no longer had reliable information on deliveries. They couldn't be reassured that the quality of the product would meet their demands, and it's caused a big issue. At the same time, prices have increased dramatically, sometimes 2 or 3 times more than what was quoted before COVID, along with the introduction of minimum and maximum order quantities. So it's become a very challenging market in the quick release pin market. Something similar has also happened with threaded inserts, and we've seen lead times for threaded inserts at 90 plus weeks, which, you know, when you're quoting 90 plus weeks, how can you plan production around lead times of that length, and also not knowing if that lead time is going to be hit. So it really challenged the market and the supply chain. So on the back of that, Jergens quickly identified this as an opportunity, and certainly when I joined the business over 2 years ago, Jergens had already identified these issues and were working against this. And I also found, similar to what was happening in the US market, in the UK and Europe, the same issues were being faced. And I did a lot of market research, presented the information back to the business, and we made a strategic decision that we needed to invest to potentially take this business from our competitors and make sure that we provide a product that's of high quality, short lead times, market leading pricing. So we've invested heavily into our raw materials, our staffing. Staffing is very important to Jergens. Being a family run and operated business, they look after the staff members like a family. And also our equipment. Just in the last 2 years, we've invested over $2 million in production equipment for the quick release pins alone. That's on the back of the demand that we're seeing now on the order book, but also what we're forecasting. That's why it's very important that we have these opportunities to present ourselves to the market, but also it's important for the market to come back to us with information about potential demands so we can plan ahead and make sure that we're always offering a product that meets market demands. So we are set up very well for significant growth from where we are today, and we've already seen significant growth in the last few years. The 3 products that we're really focusing on right now are the quick release pins, particularly MS and NAS specification pins. Also key locking threaded inserts. Sometimes these may be called key inserts, which is a brand name of Howmet. Again, MS and NAS specifications. And also thin wall threaded inserts, where we've seen a huge demand and issues in the marketplace, particularly in aero engine manufacturers, where a lot of the thin wall threaded inserts are used. Quick summary of our products. I've mentioned quick release pins. So this is a brief overview of the range that we offer. These are all to the MS and NAS standards you can see on here. You have the different configurations, whether it's T handle, L handles, button handles, heavy duty versions, double acting, ring handles. We also offer lanyards to attach to the pins, and also the warning streamers that you often see hanging from aircraft, particularly from landing gear. So that's a very brief summary of the range of quick release pins we offer. We also offer custom solutions, and a lot of applications that we're involved with requires some form of customization. So that's something we can support with, again, with market leading lead times and customer support and pricing. On the insert side of the business, so there's a wide range of inserts, again, to MS and NAS standards. There's miniature and lightweight versions, heavy duty, extra heavy duty. We offer metric as well. Something I didn't mention on the pins, we offer metric and inch sizes on the quick release pins also. Key locking studs, thin wall inserts. We currently offer these to an MS standard, but we are developing a new range to an AS standard. And that's on the back of issues in the marketplace and demand where customers have come to us asking for a solution. And then we do various other inserts, whether it's floating, blind end, solid inserts, and the tooling to support installation. The applications where these products are used on the quick release pins, these are used across a wide spectrum of applications. You have ground support equipment, landing gear, aircraft seating, ejector seats, helicopter exhaust covers, gun and weapon mounts, modular armor systems, hatch and panel access. Similar with threaded inserts. I've already mentioned these are used on jet engines. They're used on aircraft structures, within engine and propulsion systems, both on aircraft and on spacecraft, avionics and electrical systems, gun and weapon systems, structural components, rocket payload interfaces, landing gear assemblies, and the lifting solutions, the hoist rings. You can see some typical applications here. These can be used for MRO, for engine removal, for airframe assembly, ground support equipment, cargo lifting, helicopter lifts, cargo tie downs, satellite manufacturing and vehicle assembly. So a wide range of applications across aerospace, military and space applications. And here are some photos of some real life applications. The first photo here on the top left, this is actually in NASA. This is in one of their production facilities where they are using hoist rings and quick release pins for the transfer of some obviously very expensive space equipment. This is actually a sensor system used in one of their missions they sent exploring for different gases and things like that in the space environment. This, although you can't see what the structure is, this is actually on a weapon system, the photo in the top center. And on here you can see various quick release pins attached with lanyards. These are all used for the adjustment and disconnection of various sections of the weapon system. The photo on the right uses the key locking threaded inserts. This is on part of an engine assembly. And then in the bottom here, you can see some quick release pins used on pilot ejector seats from various fighter aircraft, including F-35s. I mentioned about new product development and what's next for Jergens. So this is something we're very keen to expand our range of fasteners, but we want to be able to offer solutions to current issues in the marketplace. So all of our new product development is on the back of issues in the marketplace, whether that's supply chain issues, whether that's application issues. We are very open to exploring all different options to help find a solution to these problems. I mentioned the thin wall inserts. We are currently in development of a range of thin wall inserts to AS 52760 to 63 and AS 52790 to 93. These are thin wall inserts used on aero engines. We've had a lot of feedback from a global level that the current marketplace, it's struggling to meet the demands. And we are going through the qualification phase with the SAE to launch a range of these inserts. I'm hoping that we will be ready to launch these by the end of the year. Similar also quick release pins. We are developing a range of AS specification quick release pins. These are metric. These don't actually require qualification by the SAE, so we are hoping to launch these very quickly. And in fact, some of our existing metric pins already meet the AS qualification, so that will be something we'll be launching to market very, very soon. Other areas that customers have approached us on asking if we can offer support or develop are panel fasteners, various different styles of panel fasteners, AVL overhead cabin pins. These are used on the overhead cabin lockers in aircraft. They're a special pin that's hidden behind the panels to allow access from a maintenance point of view, and various latches as well. So right now, that's where a lot of the challenges we are seeing in the marketplace. That's what our customers are asking us for. So that's what we're starting to review and develop. So this is where I ask, how can Jergens help you? Are you experiencing any of the supply chains issues that I mentioned? Do you have issues with quick release pins, threaded inserts? Are there any other fastener products that you're experiencing issues with? How can Jergens help you? Please share any information you have on any supply chain issues from the fastener range of products. We will certainly be able to help you. If it's not something that we have in our range, or it's not something that would meet our criteria for new product development, I can certainly help guide you in the direction of somebody that could potentially help you with my background and knowledge from the aerospace market. So thank you very much for your time. That's the end of the presentation. My contact information will be shared. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'll be happy to help.
Thank you all for well, thank you, Spencer, for sharing with us this information. And also we are opening this section for Q&A, for our Q&A session. And well, just to start with this part of the webinar, I would like to know if you have a specific application that you are dealing right now here in Mexico, or which are the current the current issues that you are facing or you are seeing here in Mexico, and how Jergens have been developing and helping on those issues. I'm not sure if you have a specific comment that you can share with us, and also we
Sure.
invite the audience for sharing with us your questions in the chat.
Yeah, for sure. So it's actually fairly common issues across the world. It's very similar. We've seen it in Mexico, we've seen it in the US, we've seen it in the UK, we're seeing it in Europe. One example is the quick release pins. Quick release pins to an MS or NAS standard, where they've been specified in applications for many, many years. The challenges that a lot of the aerospace companies are having, including there are examples in Mexico that Miguel's been dealing with. Obviously, we need to be careful with information, with NDAs and everything else, so we can give you generic information. They've found that they're tied into 1, 2, maybe 3 manufacturers of quick release pins. One of them is currently manufacturing pins to a very, very long lead time. The other 2, not so much. One other competitor's pretty much disappeared. And the biggest challenge that aerospace customers are having is because they're tied into what's on the drawing, they can't deviate away to other manufacturers. So we are working very closely with the end users to say that if they can consider a pin that's qualified to an MS or an NAS standard, that will help allow the transfer over to Jergens with minimal requirements for testing, environmental testing, application testing, which can be a very long-winded process. I mean, in my experience, I'm dealing with an application now that's just coming to the point where we are now receiving production orders. It's taken 2 years from the start of the project to now because they had to go through the qualification. That's the biggest challenge we're seeing right now is making customers aware that we can support them and help speed the process up of having an alternative manufacturer for products that they are struggling with. Miguel, I don't know if you wanted to add to that at all.
Well, this is what you said about the delivery time that they have is the biggest opportunity here in Latin America. We have a few companies, the biggest OEMs that we can be their suppliers. So there's a very nice opportunity for us as well.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so we have here a couple of questions. One of them is from Juan Carlos. We are waiting on the question, but we have one other from Alfonso Salas. And the question is related for the comments that we are doing right now, and it regards about the supply chain value, which are the biggest challenges. For example, we mentioned about the delivery time, but are there other challenges that are facing countries right now that you can mention, including that one that you already mentioned?
Yeah, for sure. A lot of the fastener manufacturers, because they have very large order books and they're struggling to maintain production demand, they're limiting their order intake. So they're imposing both minimum order quantities and maximum order quantities. So a lot of customers aren't able to fulfill their requirements because of the restrictions being put into place. And in addition to that, price increases. So because, again, order books are very full, very busy, prices have started to creep up from our competitors, which is now making it, a very difficult situation where you have lead time issue, pricing issues, communication issues. That's what we're hearing around the world and in Mexico from our customers.
Okay, thank you so much. There's another question regarding the strength. Do OEMs need to accelerate their growth and presence in our country, in this case, Mexico? Do you have a general overview or recommendation about this comment?
It's interesting because obviously not being based in Mexico, I'm hearing more and more about Mexico is becoming a very, very important center for the aerospace market. I had a meeting actually last week with a consultant who works in the aerospace sector who lives in Toulouse. So obviously very close connection with Airbus. And he was telling me that Mexico is a key growth region for the aerospace market. So, and all the main OEMs, they already have establishments manufacturing in Mexico. It looks like that's looking to increase. And we're certainly seeing it, certainly from my side, where I'm dealing with a lot of these multinational companies, that Mexico is becoming a very important region for the aerospace sector.
Thank you. That's a great comment. So going back to the questions that we're receiving, we have another one from Ulises Gutierrez, and it's related to tariffs. So he's mentioning if this problem that we are facing now could be similar to the pandemic effects that we have in 2019, 2020, 21. I'm not sure
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
can give us a general overview about it.
It's an interesting topic, tariffs. As everyone's been aware of the last 6 months, 12 months, tariffs has been a big question. There's still a lot of uncertainty. So nobody really knows what's happening. And you're absolutely right. It's nowhere near the level of what the COVID situation was for sure, but there is an impact on that. And it's something as a business that we are reviewing all the time to make sure that we find ways to support all the regions that we're supplying into to minimize any effects of tariffs. It's very difficult because that changes every day. It seems like there's always a new rule, a new tariff, something's gone up, something's come down. So we're waiting to see some stability. But it's something we are also reviewing on a day-to-day basis to make sure that we offer the best solution to avoid any unnecessary tariffs.
Okay, thank you so much. And also, going back about the portfolio that Can Jergens has available, how we can verify or identify the part numbers or the availability of products that you have right now worldwide or in Mexico, or for Mexico?
So we have a comprehensive website which contains a lot of information. It doesn't contain all of the information. We encourage customers to reach out to us. We like to provide customer-facing support. So with Miguel, he would be the first point of contact in Mexico. Obviously, I can support. We've got the website. We have a range of catalogs as well. If you need more information, just reach out to us. We can help provide that information.
Okay, thank you so much. And also, well, regarding, because I think that the customer service goes more than only offering a specific part number with a lead time identified.
Yes.
So how the companies in Mexico could take advantage of the technical support and the knowledge that you have in order to solve those problems, which is the first step that the companies need to cover in order to have this help from you?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and it's something I feel Jergens has a very high levels of support. So you have in-country managers, Miguel being the first point of contact. Behind Miguel, there is a team waiting to support. So whether that's commercial support, technical support, the support is there, it's available. Miguel could attest to this, that we have product managers based in the US that are there waiting to support customer applications, whether that's on video conference calls or whether that's on site in person. You will have very high levels of customer support from Jergens for sure. Miguel, maybe you could talk about an example, because I know you've had occasions where you've utilized the team in the US to help support with customer applications.
Bueno, lo voy a decir en español. I'll say it in
Okay.
Spanish. Sí, realmente de lo que va de este año hemos visto mucha oportunidad en tema de fasteners en la industria aeroespacial. Una parte gracias a Femia, de que nos asociamos con ellos a partir del año pasado. Ahorita ha habido mucho movimiento compartiendo información con clientes, con distribuidores globales. Y ahora que tuve la oportunidad de estar también en la Expo Aeroespacial en París, allá con Spencer, pues también todos sus partners que tienen a nivel global de alguna manera detectan estas oportunidades también en el mercado latinoamericano, ¿no? Entonces es una buena oportunidad de buscar o de bien abrir este tipo de información con los clientes que ya tenemos para que sepan que podemos dar este soporte, ¿no? Desde, como dice Spencer, desarrollar un producto nuevo, que es algo que estamos viviendo por los temas que ya comentó. Entonces hay oportunidad tanto de nosotros como empresa de fabricar algo especial para el cliente, como de lo que ya tenemos nosotros de línea, que hemos detectado pues temas de mercado, que hay oportunidades gracias a algunas fallas con otros proveedores por el tema de pandemia para acá, pues es algo que podemos también aprovechar, ¿no?
Thank you so much. And also, well, going back to the development of a new part, how do you deal with the specific requirements of the customer? For example, the testings, the 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 dimensions, the tolerances.
Yeah.
How do you develop and define the best way to perform this part, assuring the quality of the components to no
Yeah.
failure? How do you work with that part?
So that's a great question, and the example I can give, I think, is fairly universal. I've recently been working with an aerospace manufacturer who manufactures ejector seats and seating. And it's taken a very close relationship with the customer to be able to understand what challenges they were facing and the process, how it worked. It initially started with engagement with the procurement team and understanding the parts that they were having challenges with from a lead time point of view, from a pricing point of view, and a quality point of view. Once we had that identification of which parts we were talking about, then we engaged with the engineering team and we talked to them about the current specification of the parts that they're using and the testing requirements that they would expect to have parts qualified to. On the back of that, we produced a range of samples for the customer, sent them to the customer to perform some initial trials, just so they can check fit, form, and functionality, some basic environmental testing. Once they were happy with that, then we went to the full scale testing phase. So we produced a range of different pins to them. We raised a number of drawings for the customer to review, provided all the technical documents, material information. We produced a range of these, if this was quick release pins. We sent it to them. They did their own environmental testing. On the back of that, we also had our testing that we've done, because all of our pins we qualify to certain environmental testing, shock loading, vibration testing, provided all that data to the customer. That took a long period of time because some of the testing was long scale environmental testing. The results came back that were positive. The customer then said, we would like to make some changes to some of the dimensions. We made, and some tolerances, and we worked with them to make sure that we offered the solution that they wanted. And the outcome is now that we've got a large number of these pins now qualified by that customer, and we're now supplying into them. But throughout the whole process, it's taken a lot of communication from both sides, from a commercial and a technical aspect. And it's important that we give that customer support as a team to the customer to make sure that their needs are fulfilled.
Okay, understood. And well, maybe it could be as a general overview, how long it takes for the development of a new component from scratch, for example? Which is the time frame that you could define for this process?
It varies. It can vary. Sometimes it can be very quick. If we've got a product, an existing product that's very similar, it could be very quick. It could be 1 to 3 months if it's minimal changes. It depends if the product needs to have qualification as well. That's where sometimes it can take longer because you need an outside testing house or an outside organization to perform the qualification. In most cases, I would say 6 to 12 months would be, an average. Sometimes it could take 2 years, sometimes it could take 3 years. Again, it depends on how complex that product is and what level of testing and qualification is required. It's something, again, that we also work with our customers, because if they have, excuse me, an immediate demand, we can expedite that process as well.
Okay, understood. And it work as the same for legacy or spare parts. Do you handle these kind of products as well?
So the range of quick release pins that we offer, they actually cover a lot of legacy parts, because some of the designs have been around for 50, 60, 70 years in some instances. So yes, to answer your question, yes. One of the developments we're doing on the pin business is to an AS standard, which is an old British standard. So that's something, again, that came from a legacy demand, where that product it still has requirements from an MRO point of view. But what we're also finding is some of these companies where they have legacy style of products on their database, they're still using them in new designs. And that's where we've helped, again, where we've looked at some of these, and we are open to it, and to help in any challenges, whether it's a complete new design or whether it's to make a product to a previous standard or legacy style of product.
Okay, great. So we also invite to the audience, if they have some other questions, to share with our speakers, just to take advantage of of this time, and also to have the opportunity to get the knowledge that they already have. So going back to the presentation that we were seeing today, we saw a lot of defense products, and it's focused on that part. What about the commercial? Is there also similar in the products and services that you can provide for commercial programs as well?
Yeah, the products that we talked about and the applications are very similar in both civil and defense applications. The same challenges. In fact, a lot of the bigger challenges we're seeing is more from the commercial civil aerospace side, because that's where the high volume production is coming from. So yeah, to answer your question, yes. Okay,
thank you. And regarding the development of new products, are there some new products that you are still working in Mexico for develop here, or you are in an initial talks, or could you mention something about it?
Yeah, for sure. And I would say initial talks. Some of the new developments that we're working on are coming from global demand. I've mentioned about some thin wall threaded inserts. There's demand for those from Mexico as well. So a lot of the new developments that we're looking at will be to fill global issues and demand. It's not regional. We're finding it's common no matter where you are in the world. If it's an aerospace application or a military application, they're seeing the same challenges with the same types of products.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, regarding the availability of the current products and services that you have with the Excel that people were requesting, is there some additional information that we can distribute to the audience with the products that you currently have available, and that they could take a view in order to know if that could be a good fit for them? Is there something that we can share with them after this webinar?
Yes, there is. So we have a range of brochures that we can share, but also what we can help with customers is providing cross-reference from a competitor product to ours. obviously we need to be careful what information we share in the public domain, but we can certainly help those applications on a case-by-case basis.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I think that cross reference could be really helpful because
Yeah.
maybe some OEMs or tier ones could have the same part number
Yeah,
with different
exactly.
names. But
Yeah.
I'm going back to that part. For example, when you finish the development of a new product, is there a specific part number for an OEM, the one that requested? But is there a way that in some cases, some other companies could be interested in that solution, or that's something that it goes directly to the OEM with no possibility of commercialization, or how it works? It depends.
It's both. It's both. In most cases, the products that we're manufacturing are manufactured to an MS or an NAS standard, so there'll be an MS or NAS part number. That's the first approach that we take to our customers. We ask them we give them the particular MS or NAS part numbers and say, if you have any of these on your database, we can provide you with a direct equivalent product. A lot of the new products that we're doing as well will be to one of those standards, so it's very quick and easy for a customer to identify if they're already using that style of product. There are some cases where there won't be a standard and it will be a special part number. What we can do in that instance is help customers where if they have a list of part numbers that they're currently buying from a competitor, we can take that information and cross-reference against what we can offer and offer them the support of equivalence from Jergens.
Okay, understood. So, well, we are almost over the time. So I would like to have a final comment from you for wrapping up this webinar. I'm not sure if you can help us, Miguel and Spencer, for having those comments for the audience.
Sure. I'd like to just thank everybody again for your time and your attention. I've seen the feedback and comments and the questions. I've seen some very, very nice positive feedback on the comments, so I really do appreciate that. We thank you for the opportunity, and please, if we can help you in any way, please do reach out to us. Miguel, maybe you can finish in Spanish.
Yes, thank you. Bueno, gracias a todos por entrar a esta sesión. Cualquier cosa que necesiten, tanto de mi parte como de Spencer, estamos para servirles. Tienen su contacto en pantalla y el mío lo puse en el chat, por si alguno todavía no tiene mi teléfono o mi correo.
Perfecto. Muchísimas gracias. Pues de igual manera agradecer a ambos por compartir esta información. Thank you both for having a space in your agenda. We hope that we could have another webinar soon with you. And when in behalf of Femia, we would like to thank you, Spencer Wills, and also Miguel Carreon, for this information that you are sharing with us. This is your space also for communication with all the audience. Well, we will hope to see you soon here again in another edition of our webinars. And also, well, muchas gracias a toda la audiencia por acompañarnos. Esperemos que pronto podamos vernos en nuestro próximo webinar, que es el 20 de agosto, en compañía de Comea, que estaremos por ahí mencionando cuál sería el próximo título. Muchas gracias a todos, gracias por participar y quedamos, bueno, esperamos que tengan una excelente semana. Gracias a todos y que tengan muy buen día.